So what's your name? Where are you from?
Erin Gallogly, and I'm from Chicago.
Did you enjoy the convention today?
I did. I think it was the best culmination at the end of the whole the election cycle this year to kind of come together with Ron Paul and the people and just kind of get a good sense of, celebration of what we've done up until this point, and also a good sense of what's going to happen in the future and some direction on what we can do in the future. So it was great.
And how do you learn about politics?
How do I learn about politics? Well, I've kind of grown up in a house full of politics and ideology. So my dad had run for Congress back in the day. So it's always kind of been embedded in our family to kind of follow. And I think it's very important for everybody to be aware and follow politics.
What do you think about the Republican National Committee and what they've done to the Ron Paul delegates?
It's sad. It's absolutely sad. I mean, on the whole, one of the thoughts that I had is I oftentimes hear, the Ron Paul or the Mitt Romney people blaming the Ron Paul people that, they're going to lose against Obama. If you don't support Mitt, you're going to lose. And I look at it as, and everything that they've done up until this point, and not even including really Ron Paul in the Republican National Convention, shutting him out, shutting his delegates out, it really just says to me that, he's lost it himself, and he's lost the whole Republican Party because, it should have been a great opportunity to embrace all these ideas, and have the kind of parties come together and have them really reflect on what we're really asking for, which is essentially what the forefathers wanted: some freedom, financial responsibility, financial independence as well. And it doesn't come in the form of bailing out the banks. It doesn't come in the form of bailing out Wall Street, on the backs of the American people. So it's really, really heartbreaking. But I think it just gives us more of an incentive to work harder and to ensure that we don't have those kind of politicians, the politics in our environment.
And what do you think of Rand Paul's endorsement of Mitt Romney?
I'm not sure. I look at it in the sense that Rand Paul comes from a household of very liberty-centric ideas that have probably been embedded into him. I don't think that by him endorsing Mitt Romney, it necessarily deviates from who he is, and he's really kind of stand for many liberty ideas. I do think that maybe it was, I'm sure that there's some reason for it, probably more of trying to engage the party so that it's not Ron Paul and the Republican Party, to start engaging them more so that they can, instead of looking at us as outsiders, that we're willing to work with them. It's hard to say, though. I mean, I hope to think that it's really just that, and it's not that he's, but I still love Rand. I'm still watching him very closely to ensure that he's, following a lot of very liberty-centric positions, and he is. So far, so good. And I guess at the end of the day, the reality of it is, Ron Paul people are very educated. They're not, they don't just kind of follow whatever. So for Rand ultimately to endorse Mitt really means nothing for the Ron Paul people, because it's not that they're going to follow what he does just because he did it. They're very, very individual-minded and very aware. And so I really kind of think it doesn't mean anything other than just words.
And what about Gary Johnson? Have you checked him out?
I have checked out Gary Johnson, not entirely. I've been very active at the Ron Paul movement and campaign this year, so I do know some bit about him. I do like, as he was governor, that he vetoed a lot. That I do like to hear, and I think, if by some sad chance Ron Paul is not the nominee and it's only the options are Obama, Mitt Romney, and Gary Johnson, that are in all 50 states, the only 3 names in all 50 states, my thoughts are he's at least in one area that he's proven himself is that he's vetoed. He is like the master of veto when he was a governor. So it's more than I can say for the other 2 guys. And so I do think that he has a lot of very economic-based stuff that he has done. He's done some good things in New Mexico. And so, I'm certainly going to be looking a little more into him as well as the other candidates. But at the end of the day, only those 3 are going to be, if Ron Paul's not, those are going to be the only 3 on the ballots, and I'll likely lean towards him.
What was your favorite part in today's rally?
Well, Ron Paul. I love Ron Paul. So just to kind of see him again and to hear him, he speaks with such genuineness and honesty, and, it's always very, very warming to hear that, especially when you're kind of going through the thick of, where you see kind of where this economy's going, where you see this country's going. So it's good to see somebody that kind of gives you that fresh breath of air to say, keep going. It's been tough. And he's really, if anybody, is the person that can, be the leader of that movement, because given all the 30 plus years that he's been in Congress fighting this system and doing it alone over and over, it makes it for people like myself and all the other Ron Paul supporters easy to realize, you know what, there's been one person that's been like, the wolf in the wilderness, and we all collectively can do it together because we're no longer alone. So that's good.
Well, thanks.